So that's the track that heads up to Otamahua hut. So that's the Department of Conservation hut here on Quail Island. So you're just climbing uphill 500 metres to get up to where the hut is. That's the animal quarantine stables. When Shackleton and Fox went down to Antarctica, they quarantined the horses that they used in these sheds. Yeah, and then loaded them on the ship and took them south. So that's Otamahua hut, or Quail Island hut. It's a converted farm building that's been there for decades. So that's the kitchen bench there. You can see like people have left pots and pans and stuff here. So that's looking at the living area of the hut. This is one of the bunk rooms in Otamahua hut. Somebody was staying here last night. They must be walking around the island. So yeah, it's a 12 bunker. There's 2 bedrooms, 6 bunks in each room, individual bunks. This is the other bunk room, so 6 bunks in here as well. Yeah, I'd love to come stay at this place. I've been thinking about it for ages and ages, but you know, it's always really busy in the weekends. That's the only cutting implement they have here at Otamahua hut. So totally inadequate for cutting up firewood with. You can make kindling, but that's about it.
Oh, I'll put my polarising one on. Because polarising normally shows it up quicker.
That's what most of the track around the island's like. It's grass that's been mown down short. So that's Lyttleton over the other side of the harbour, and then coming around here you've got Cass Bay, yeah, and then continuing around to the outer bays. Yeah, so there's these massive big cliffs in front of us, so you have to stay on the track. That's looking out to the area of planting around the middle of the island. So we're just walking up to the pole in the centre of the island. Some California quail running down the track over there. So there's a almost like a totem pole in the centre of the island on the high point. Yeah, and that's it just ahead of us there. So that's the southern side of the island. That's looking down on the eastern side of the island. So you can see the track running around the outside of the island there. That's the big sea cliffs on the northern side of the island. It's looking down off the northern end of the island. that's a dam for water for stock that they built back in the 1870s, and they just basically piled up dirt and clay at the far end of this gully, and you know, it just naturally fills up with water. That's looking up to the head of the bays, so that's like the far end of Lyttleton Harbor, and that's Gebby's Pass over there. Gebby's Pass, you can go over to Birdlands Flat and South Canterbury. So that's looking down to Shipwreck Bay, where all of the old boats have been beached. Yeah, high tide, so you can't see all of them down there, but you can see probably about maybe 5-6 of them. I'm around on the southeastern side of the island now, and so the trek continues off in that direction. I'm looking down at, I don't know what that bay is, I've forgotten what it's called. There's big shell banks down there, and what they do is every so often they come and they take the shells off the shell banks because they grind it up and turn it into limestone powder. Yeah, it was an industry on the island for nearly 100 years, and they only stopped doing it back in the early 1980s. One of the things that you will see over on the side of the island, especially around here, is quail. I've seen them in this area every time I've walked through. In fact, there's one on the track just up in front of us there. That's the quarry on Quail Island. Most of the rock was taken over to Lyttelton and used in Lyttelton. So one of the purposes of the island in the past was as a leper colony, and so there were people on the island, lepers on the island, up to the 1920s. The last leper on the island who died here in 1923 was Ivan Skelton. He lived over on this side of the island, and he's buried over here, but nobody actually marked where he was buried. And so back in the 90s they put that cross up as a commemoration for him. That's not actually where he's buried, but he's buried somewhere in this general area around here, because he was buried near to his hut, and his hut was in this area. And so you can see his name on the cross there. And then there's just some information about him. He was from Western Samoa. They used to send people with leprosy here from all over the Pacific. Fairly sad, really, isn't it? And then I'm just continuing down to Swimmers Bay this way. Yeah, track just winds down the side of the hill, and then you get down to a flat piece on the eastern side of the island that's like a camping ground, picnic area. It's got picnic tables, water and a toilet. Yeah, so that's Swimmers Bay there, and there's a picnic area over the far side over there we're going to stop at for lunch. And then these are all the bays on the eastern side of Lyttleton Harbor. So you've got Corsair Bay, Orton Bradley Estates there, and then there's a couple of other bays background this way. We just keep going straight. Yeah. So that's Skiers Beach, which is one of the two beaches over here on the island. So that's the track down to Swimmers Beach. That's Mount Herman and Mount Bradley over the other side of Lyttleton Harbour. That's Swimmers Beach. in the summertime you always get lots of people swimming off this beach. It's quite shallow for probably about 150 metres out into the harbour. So that's Swimmers Beach there. We're just having these oatmeals for lunch on Quail Island, and so what you have is you have like a retort pouch of food and like a flameless ration heater, so you know it works by chemical thermal action, and you stick it in there, pour some water on, and then it heats your meals up. Yeah, so we've just put the water in there, so it should start steaming in a minute. Yeah, so when the chemicals start working with the water, like they get really hot and it warms the meal up, and like they keep boiling away for about maybe 5 or 6 minutes. We are at the beach with a big bunch of assholes playing lots of music. That's the back waves after that jet ski left. That's the back of the hut. There's a set of toilets just there. Woodshed with lots of wood in it. They bring the wood over from the mainland, and an extremely inadequate axe for chopping wood up with. There's the dock again down at the end of the track.
Oh, that's weird. I'm not sure about that.